everyone. Welcome back to A Beautiful Life. I'm your host, as always, Amanda. Today we're talking about the pancreas, the gallbladder, and the kidneys in relation to the hormones that they either create or the hormones that directly affect these organs. This is something that we've been talking about on Instagram for the past few days. And because I post a lot of information in my stories, if you don't follow me or if you've missed those stories completely, I don't always save them, so this will kind of wrap up a lot of what we've been talking about, both in posts and in stories. So hopefully this will answer any questions that you guys might have regarding these organs. If it doesn't, if you have more questions, just let me know. I'd be happy to answer any of these questions. These are three really important organs that we look at when we're looking at blood chemistry, because these are the ones that can kind of point to underlying health concerns that are either really easy to reverse or need a lot more work. Now, I'm always looking at the gut, which is directly correlated with the pancreas and the gallbladder in particular, because they are part of the whole digestive tract in a way. And so we'll break that down. I don't want to jump ahead, but this is why they're so important. So even though you could potentially live without these organs, it's not really a good idea because they have such crucial benefits to the whole body. So let's just talk about them. Before I keep going ahead of myself, we'll just talk about them. So we're going to break down the pancreas first. So the pancreas is an elongated organ. It is located across the back of the belly behind the stomach. The right side of the organ is called its head, and it's the widest part, and it lies in the curve of the duodenum, which is the first division of the small intestine. So again, it's part of that whole area, and that's why it's important. So the pancreas makes digestive juices with powerful enzymes that are released into the small bowel after meals to break down food. Crucial part of the digestive system. If you do not have the digestive juices to break down your food, you are not properly absorbing your food. That's why you have the start is in your mouth, and then the end is your colon. Everything in that whole system of the GI tract is breaking down that food, it's absorbing that food, and it's just assimilating that food, it's using it. So the pancreas is a crucial part of this. It helps break down the food that you eat. But it also makes insulin, which helps control blood glucose levels. When these blood glucose levels go out of whack and just completely are either overproduced or underproduced, that's when you get into diabetes issues. Type 1 diabetes occurs when the body's immune system attacks its own cells that produce insulin. This is an autoimmune issue. So this one's a little bit more difficult to deal with because it's autoimmune, but then again, it's not unreversible, because autoimmune, we know through various studies, is an against self issue. And so it's really, really a spiritual issue. But it's also a physical issue as well. And then we have type 2 diabetes, which is more common, is a metabolic disorder in which the body does not respond to or produce insulin. And so this is a little bit more easily controlled, easily reversible, but it takes time. And so the whole process of getting the pancreas back into functioning order is to work with the whole GI system, figuring out why your body is not producing insulin in the first place. Part 2, the gallbladder. So we're going to break down the gallbladder next. It is a pear-shaped hollow structure under the liver, which is why when you have gallbladder pain, a lot of people will kind of think that it's their liver, because they're right under each other. Or not under each other, it's right under the liver. It's on the right side of the abdomen. Its primary function is to store and concentrate bile. Again, so important to the whole digestive process of your food. It is there is a yellow-brown digestive enzyme produced by the liver. The liver and the gallbladder work conjunctively. If you have one without the other, it's not going to work as well. You have to have both of them. The gallbladder is part of the biliary tract, which is so important to the processing of fats. So important. When people who don't have gallbladders, they tend to have more biliary stasis problems, which is very dangerous because that can actually lead to duct problems, which, oops, my microphone just flipped up. It can cause some liver issues as well. So it's really important that we have both the gallbladder and the liver working together. The gallbladder stores this liquid bile that is used to digest fats. So again, if you don't have gallbladder, you're not able to digest fats properly, and that causes a lot of problems. Melatonin helps inhibit gallstone formation, which is why it's really important that we have healthy levels of melatonin. And this is where the pituitary gland comes into focus. You've got to have all of these things balanced, because if you don't have melatonin, you're more at risk for gallstone formation. And it also supports the conversion of cholesterol into bile salts. Bile salts help break down food. CCK is another hormone. It initiates gallbladder contraction and pancreatic enzyme secretion. So you can see now how the gallbladder and the pancreas also work in conjunction with each other, and that you have this one hormone that functions with both. And then thyroxine helps regulate metabolism and bile flow. So these are the hormones that affect the gallbladder in particular. This is so important to have your gallbladder hormones, the particular hormones that affect the gallbladder to be balanced, because that is going to maintain the health and structure and stability of the gallbladder itself. So when we go straight to let's remove the gallbladder, that's an acute situation. That's something that maybe might be your last resort, but you want to make sure that you're looking at the hormones. How do I fix the hormones? Once you fix the hormones, your gallbladder will then start working the way it is supposed to. So doctors don't tell you this. So that's why I'm telling you. And again, this is where functional blood chemistry comes in. All right, part 3, the kidneys. So the kidneys, we all know where they are. They are sandwiched between the diaphragm and the intestines. Usually when I'm telling students, because we do tennis ball massages on our lower back, they pretty much lie under the last rib. So if you find your last rib, they're kind of tucked under there, and they're closer to the backside of the abdomen. So they're like right there, and they're about the size of a closed fist, which seems kind of large, but they're actually pretty small. The kidneys are specialized organs that correct fluid levels, balance the blood, regulate sodium, potassium, and calcium, remove waste, activate vitamin D, and produce erythropoietin, which is vital for the production of red blood cells. I just posted this today, so if you wanted to check out the stories before they disappear, I highly recommend doing so, because I broke down what erythropoietin does. That's so hard to say. And some symptoms of dysfunction in the kidneys. Now, the kidneys are really, really sensitive to fluctuations in the body. So you got to be sure, you got to be sure that you're drinking enough fluids, that you are maintaining a healthy balance of foods. You have to have really good nutrition, because that's going to really alter how your whole body functions. It's going to affect the pancreas, the gallbladder, and the kidneys together. Nutrition is highly, highly important. But also, even exercise can fluctuate the function of the kidneys themselves. So you got to really make sure that you're doing what's right for your body, and not necessarily just going with anything, because not one thing is going to work for everybody. And I keep telling everybody that, but you just got to learn it yourself, I guess. So anyway, these are 3 really, really important organs. They're really, really important to understand how they function, why they function, why we need them in our bodies. I know that sounds like a really stupid thing to say, but with the whole influx of gallbladder dysfunction and pancreatic dysfunction, we've got so many diabetics. In fact, it is an epidemic right now, diabetes is. And it's really, really sad to see all of these people struggling. And then our only option then, once we have complete dysfunction, complete degradation of these organs, is to remove them entirely. So the goal is to understand the organ function, why it's functioning the way it is, and understanding how to get it back to proper working order, because that is when you're going to see the best results. And then you get to keep your organ, which is going to be the best thing in the long term. So if you guys have any questions about these 3 organs, I know I didn't really go into detail. I didn't really want to go through the whole anatomical description and functionality of these organs, because honestly, I just am focusing on hormones this month, finishing out the hormone subjects. And so I really wanted to talk about the hormones, because when I talk about hormone balance to clients, I'm not talking about sex hormones, although they are very important. I'm not just focusing on those. We're not just focusing on estrogen or progesterone or testosterone. We're focusing on all the hormones in the body. So it's like the nervous system. You got to focus on the whole nervous system. You got to focus on the whole hormone system. You can't just focus on one area. So if we just focused on brain health, we wouldn't see a whole lot of changes, because you're not taking the whole nervous system into account. So the same thing goes for hormones. We've got to look at all the hormones in the body. How are they functioning? What are they doing? Are they dysfunctioning in any way? How can we reverse the dysfunction? So I just wanted to clarify that for everybody, because when I say hormone balance, I mean hormone balance. Hormones of all kinds that affect all organ systems in the body. So anyway, again, if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you guys for listening. We're going to be talking about cholesterol next week. I think this is a really important topic. I even had a workshop planned for it that will probably happen in June. So if that's something that you want to talk about in detail, I will be scheduling a workshop in June talking just specifically about cholesterol. But this is a really important topic, because a lot of people are so stressed out about their cholesterol levels. So we're going to talk about how they interact with the hormones and triglycerides as well, because that is also something that a lot of people are stressed about. So we'll talk about that next week. So don't forget to join next week to check that out. Don't forget to subscribe. Share this podcast episode with your friends, family, whoever is struggling with hormone balance or who wants to know information. Anybody who wants to learn. That's what these podcast episodes are for. So anyway, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a beautiful life, everybody. Until next time.